So the Travelwatch meeting here at the Villa Marina is on, and the head of Flybe PR is here to answer questions. We caught up with him earlier to have a quick chat.
Well, it's always very interesting to come to the various destinations that Flybe serves, in particular the island communities where, let's be frank, flying is not a luxury, it's actually a necessity. And we know how important our services are, and when we get it right, that's good, but when we get it wrong, obviously people are going to have their say.
Okay. Do you listen to people? Do you actually take account of what people here will be saying today?
Absolutely. If we didn't, Flybe would not have been in existence for 30 years. If you look at this industry, there are plenty of airlines that have not lasted, and I'd like to think that we are responsive. We get things wrong, of course we do, but our punctuality is good, I think our services are good, and I'll listen to what people have to say today.
Okay, there's going to be the usual gripes, I might as well give you them now. I mean, you see a price on the website, it's almost free. Well, sometimes it is free, but by the time you've added this, that, and other, and paid for almost, it seems like your air, it's quite expensive.
I frankly think those days are gone. You know, if you want to have those conversations with Michael O'Leary in Dublin, go for it. But our website, I think, is one of the more transparent ones. Of course, you know, we make people make it pretty evident what they're paying for. Every single ounce of fuel that goes into our aircraft is in relation to the weight of that aircraft. So I think it's reasonable. We're going to make further changes as well. And I think the days of O'Leary charging you £1 and then another 50 quid for getting on the airplane are long gone.
Is Flybe here for the long term?
Absolutely. You have to look around at where we've stayed, where we've been. You know, Flybe has a big base here in the Isle of Man. We have 75 of our own staff based here. We have 14 other bases around the country. This is what we do. No one else does regional aviation like Flybe. We're here for the long run.
Now, you had big news this last week about having a hub at Manchester. That could be interesting for us, could it?
There are direct benefits for Manx passengers. There are now additional services to Norwich, to Aberdeen, to Exeter, and to Inverness, which means that Manchester becomes something a bit more than somewhere where you go, hang around, and then hopefully in 3 or 4 hours get another flight. We've rearranged our timetable to make sure that there's a 35 to 55-minute wait and one price, one ticket, straight through. I think it's going to make a big difference to the island.
Talk about waiting there. I mean, a lot of people, and I take myself into this one, when you do a long-haul flight and you then got as far as Manchester, wherever, you don't book the first flight back to Isle of Man because you don't know if there's going to be a delay in that other flight. And therefore, you're sitting around the airport because you can't change that ticket unless you want to pay almost, well, I suppose, a full fare to change it. Are you going to look at things like that?
Well, we're lucky in the sense that our punctuality is better than virtually every other airline in the UK. But we're looking at everything. What I would say in terms of name changes is that we don't want to get to the position where we did 10, 12 years ago, where Joe Bloggs buys 12 tickets, goes down the pub, flogs them to his mates, and then the airline doesn't survive. You know, we have to be frank. You can't have name changes for nothing because otherwise, you know, we wouldn't be around. But it's the kind of thing that I'm expecting to hear, and we will listen and come back to people.
And what about having a lounge that you can go into? I mean, you don't have one in the Isle of Man, and you're asked to sign up to your schemes. Yet you can only use it on half of the routes, but pay, in a sense, the full amount. What can you do about that?
Well, for lounge access, it's a different price ticket. So from that perspective, it is very frustrating, I know. But where there isn't a lounge, we have arrangements with other providers. It is a challenge. Let's be frank. At the moment, the economy is very, very difficult. But I think once we're out of this, we'll be in a position to have even more services, get back to those 2007, 2008 days where there really was a great deal more than there is currently to offer.
Finally, if people do have a gripe, they're not here today, I mean, they've had a problem, is it actually worth their while to bother to contact somebody at Flybe to air their grievance?
Always. I get to see a lot of the customer relations letters, sometimes their complaints. Occasionally, some people do write and say, well done, Flybe, for this and that. There is a big team there, and they will respond. And if they don't, then there's plenty of people through the ticket office, the ticket desk at Ronaldsway, who will act on our behalf as well.